Welcome to the 208 today, and we're going to get into some inflation talk because the prices we pay for everyday necessities, it's tough to ignore this stuff. Rent has likely risen over the last few years, depending on where you live. You're hitting $100 at the gas pump. That's probably become a regular thing. Groceries, well, those bags probably aren't as filled as they used to be for that same $100. And it's all being blamed on inflation. It's a word some of us remember from a few decades ago. And a number of the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics officially tracks using several different commodities. And for most, well, the gas seems to be that benchmark. But throughout history, people often looked at the cost of bread. And due to a range of factors, one Boise bakery says they're now having to bump up their prices to make those ends, the heels, if you will, meet. Here's Andrew Bartline.
So we have a potato bread, some individual focaccias, some long ciabattas.
It's a labor of love at the Acme Bakery.
I don't know if I can describe it to you.
And while you may be unfamiliar with the name of this Garden City-based business, you're likely familiar with their work.
Start with a bag of flour and a bucket of water, and you end the day with stacks of beautiful bread. You're transforming stuff. It's magical.
Michael Runsvold built this operation from the ground up. He employs a team of 15 and supplies bread to more than 50 local restaurants, coffee shops, and food trucks.
That's what pays the bills, and then we have fun baking for people at the farmers market.
And that fun now comes at a higher price. Runsvold increased the cost of his bread to keep up with the rising cost of ingredients.
It's just a matter of inputs. Everything we use to make bread costs more, like down to employees.
Runsvold says he's charging between 50 cents to $1 more per product. It's a decision he didn't want to make, but a decision he had to make to stay in business.
Everything has gone through its phase of being harder to find. It's just like more work to do this work.
Runsvold buys his flour from a co-op located on the Palouse. It costs $17 a bag. It's not the cheapest price he can find, but it's the most stable price. That's because he buys directly from the producer. The whole point is to avoid the commodity market where prices are set at a macro level.
Wheat growers are price takers, not price makers. That means they do not set their price of sale. It's what they are offered.
Idaho Wheat Commission Executive Director Casey Chumra says the global economy plays a significant role in the cost of wheat. And now the war in Ukraine is creating uncertainty and price swings. That's because Russia and Ukraine export 30% of the world's wheat.
In the last 10 to 20 years, we've seen a lot more volatility in the grain markets. And if you talk to people whose grandparents grew wheat, it was a lot if it was changed 20 cents in 1 year. And now we can change 20, 40 cents in a day.
Most farmers gamble on whether the commodity market price will cover the cost of production with money left over for a profit. It's an increasingly dangerous bet as diesel fuel, fertilizer, and other overhead costs increase.
Anywhere from 60 to 300% increases depending on the input. So the price of production, the cost of production for producers has increased significantly in this year.
The co-op Acme buys from does the opposite. The co-op sets their price based on the cost of production. This ensures the farmer makes a profit and the customer has a stable, dependable price.
I don't think anybody has had an easy ride. Everybody's trying to find their feet.
But as the cost of production continuously climbs, so do the co-op prices. It's a cost Runsvold has to pass on to his customer.
This is how we do business, right?
And while he loves what he does for a living, Runsvold is navigating unfamiliar territory.
Everything has been changing so much recently that it's hard to know that you're making the right choice for what is possible in the future.
Runsvold says his regular customers at the farmers market are supportive. They understand why he has to increase prices, and the restaurants that he supplies and sells bread to are already used to ingredients costing more too. So right now, this isn't exactly threatening their business, Brian, but like I said, they're navigating unfamiliar territory. It's something they're not used to. He created a business model to make the supply chain as hyper-localized as possible. So global events like Russia and Ukraine aren't exactly going to impact his prices. And even then, inflation is hitting them pretty hard.
Right. Well, it costs to move that wheat from the field to the process, all that stuff. It all comes down, I guess, a lot of it to the gasoline prices anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean, if diesel fuel is going to be costing, I don't know, what's diesel these days?
Don't know. It's more than regular gas,
I'm
that's
paying
for sure.
$5.30 to fill my Jeep, but I know diesel's more than that.
It is a lot more than that, and yet you're going to pay for the gas and the bread now.
Yep.
All right, thank you very much, Andrew.